Hello everyone, welcome to the 5-Minute Discovery channel. Why is North Korea considered a belligerent country? Welcome. Today, we will explore an interesting but also troubling issue. Why does North Korea, a small country that is facing many difficulties such as humanitarian crises and famine, appear so belligerent? Although this country is going through severe challenges, where millions of people are living in poverty, what attracts the international community's attention is not only the pain that the people here are suffering. Instead, the image of a North Korea with missile tests, mysterious nuclear programs and assassination threats always makes us ask the question, why is it like that? Before we delve into this story, I want to hear your opinions. What do you think about North Korea's belligerence? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share to support us. Thank you very much. Now let's explore the reasons why North Korea is a belligerent country. History and reasons for North Korea's warlike behavior. One of the first reasons why North Korea is considered a warlike country is its tumultuous history. Let's take a look back. North Korea was founded in 1948, after the fall of Japan at the end of World War II. From 1910 onwards, the Korean people endured brutal occupation by the Japanese fascist regime, where pain and oppression were inevitable. Against this backdrop, many resistance movements emerged, including the Communist movement, with Kim Il-sung, the first leader of North Korea, being a prominent figure. When World War II ended, the Korean peninsula suffered another shock. It was divided along the 38th parallel, with the north supported by the Soviet Union and the south supported by the United States. In 1950, North Korea invaded the south in hopes of reunifying the country under Kim Il-sung. The war drew in the United States and 15 other countries, and the North Korean army was pushed back past the 38th parallel. From then on, the regime in Pyongyang not only resisted the Japanese occupation but also took hostile actions against the United States. For North Korea, maintaining a belligerent attitude was not only a natural response to invaders, but also a way to demonstrate resilience and national pride. While these actions may be seen as futile or mere propaganda, they are a deep part of the identity of North Korea today, a nation that is constantly fighting for its existence and asserting its position. This is not just a historical story, but also an emotional journey that reflects the pain and desire for freedom of the Korean people. Perceptions of aggression and hostility. Another important reason for North Korea's aggressive behavior is its deep sense of hostility from other countries. North Korea believes that it faces a serious external threat. In fact, the United States and many Western powers, along with South Korea and Japan, have viewed North Korea as a hostile state since its founding in 1948. North Korea's actions, especially its invasion of the South in the 1950s, have heightened these tensions. Not only was it a shock to the region, but it also exacerbated the hostility felt by surrounding countries. However, the regime in Pyongyang has used this hostility to justify its actions. It believes that maintaining a hostile posture is a way to protect the country from threats. Not only has this become a self-fulfilling prophecy, it has also led to increased sanctions and military presence by Western countries in the region. Whether it is entirely correct to view other countries as aggressive is certainly a matter of debate. However, it is undeniable that North Korea has used this perception of hostility as a reason to continue its aggressive actions. This reflects not only defense but also part of the regime's survival strategy. In the tumultuous history and politics of North Korea, there is a key reason why the regime has become so belligerent. It is a tool to consolidate power for the ruling family that has been in power since the country's founding. The North Korean regime, with its long history of brutality and alarming human rights record, has failed to provide a decent life for its people. Many live in poverty, with famines occurring regularly, while the elite live in luxury, completely detached from the suffering of their fellow countrymen. This has deprived the regime of legitimacy. Initially, its support came from the resistance against the Japanese occupation, but that was 2 generations ago. To maintain power, North Korean leaders need to project an image of external threat. Hostility towards surrounding countries, especially the United States, has become a key part of their strategy. In this way, they make their people feel surrounded, thereby strengthening their position. The Kim regime does not simply use aggressive actions to demonstrate its power. but also to create a hostile atmosphere, making their government a symbol of resistance and protection. In times of difficulty, they skillfully transform fear into support, making people believe that only the current regime can protect him from outside forces. As a result, in an unstable world, they continue to maintain power through fear and hostility, while in reality the people still face harsh challenges every day. Another profound reason why North Korea has become a belligerent state is its deep fear of regime survival. The regime in Pyongyang lives in a paranoid state that it could always be overthrown. And this fear is not just wishful thinking, it is amplified by regional powers and the United States, which it believes are secretly plotting war against it. Throughout its history, many have called for the end of North Korea. The survival of the Kim regime is therefore its ultimate goal, the driving force behind all its actions. North Korea is well aware that if it takes aggressive action, it will create a barrier that will make other countries think twice before attempting to attack or overthrow the regime. For them, being ready to respond forcefully to even low-level threats is a defensive strategy. They believe that by showing strength even when there is no real threat, they will make their opponents wary. This not only creates an image of indomitability but also ensures that any action from the outside will be met with a backlash. The key to North Korea's aggression lies in this mentality. Fear drives them to constantly carry out provocations in order to consolidate power and protect the regime. In an uncertain world where all eyes are on them, the regime has chosen to live in fear, and is determined to show its strength as a way to maintain its position. One important reason for North Korea's aggressive behavior is to gain consensus and concessions from the international community. In the context of a poor economy, where the Kim regime cannot provide a decent life for its people, the country's survival seems to depend on drastic actions. The North Korean regime has long adhered to the Juche ideology, put forward by its founder Kim Il-sung, which emphasizes self-reliance and independence. However, the reality is harsh. North Korea cannot be completely self-sufficient in many areas such as food, technology, industry and medicine, and must rely on external support, especially when economic sanctions are increasingly tightened. To cope with this difficult situation, North Korea often takes hostile actions, such as nuclear weapons tests or missile launches. These actions are not only to assert power but also a strategy to force other countries to make concessions. Their ultimate goal is to gain vital economic, technological, or humanitarian assistance, hoping that their threats will induce countries to ease sanctions. This cycle, consolidating power through provocations in exchange for concessions, has been the basis of North Korea's relations with major powers, especially the United States, for decades. Despite efforts by policymakers to break the cycle, the need for concessions continues to motivate North Korea to maintain its hostile posture. In this uncertain international environment, North Korea's strategy clearly demonstrates that it is willing to trade aggression for what it needs, turning fear and isolation into a strategic tool for regime survival. The final reason why North Korea is an aggressive state is because it can. Since its founding in 1948, North Korea has been relentless in its aggressive actions toward its neighbors. From espionage, assassinations, to strong propaganda, especially targeting South Korea and Japan, it has clearly demonstrated its assertiveness. The USS incident in 1968 and many other hostile acts against US forces in the region have confirmed that North Korea is not afraid to show its strength. Although the international community has responded with tough sanctions, the reality is that none of these actions have been strong enough to actually harm the Kim regime. As a result, North Korea feels unthreatening and continues on its chosen path of aggression. One factor that cannot be overlooked is the support from China, the only country that has stood firmly by North Korea. Beijing provides Pyongyang with important economic and military resources, as North Korea is seen as part of China's strategy. Therefore, China is willing to accept a degree of hostility between North Korea and its potential enemies. So, these reasons paint a picture of an aggressive and belligerent North Korea. Thanks for watching. See you in the next videos, where we will continue to explore other interesting stories.